maybe somewhere over here. I like that, near Sendai. Let's go. What is going on, guys? It's Zigzag here. Welcome back to another Geoguessr video. Today we are back on the educational series where I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play Geoguessr better, and I'm going to be running through my entire thought process in each round. As usual, the links for the play along will be in the description so you can see how you guys stack up against me. And no doubt some of you will be able to beat me, but hopefully I'll play pretty well nonetheless. And here we are on the first round here. We have a really washed out Generation 2 camera, so I'm immediately thinking of Germany or perhaps Luxembourg. So let's see what this says here. So this is in German, so I think this should be somewhere in Germany, pretty easy. This is also German here as well, and yeah, not really sure. So apparently, I'm pretty sure maybe it's like Dresden or Leipzig where you get more rural coverage, but obviously, normally speaking, Germany has only coverage inside cities. So this one is interesting. Yeah, relatively sure that this is not going to be anywhere in Austria. So I think I'm going to go for Leipzig, but yeah, it could be one of those two, I think. So this one was over here near Essen, so a decent 4,000 score. Obviously, it's quite nice to hedge around here just because there are so many cities in this kind of area here. So yeah, what can you do? Not the best score. Next one is looking fairly green. Also, a thing to note about the last one was it was a little hilly, so could have used that for sure. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. We appear to probably be driving on the right-hand side of the road here. Taking a look at the architecture, we got some brick here. Interesting, like, mix of houses. Kind of reminds me more of Canada than the US so far. And look at this, we have a little Mary here, so perhaps that is Catholic, but the only real Catholic part of Canada, or like North America to begin with, is Quebec, but we have a front plate here, so shouldn't be anywhere in Quebec. So I'm wondering, I'm kind of feeling Ontario perhaps here. For that reason, Ontario uses front plates. So just taking a look here, taking it all in, I do like Canada better here. I can't really explain too well why. It's kind of like one of those very generic North American rounds. Although it definitely feels like a colder climate, you could say that much. So yeah, I think I will go in Ontario here, maybe in Ottawa. Maybe in Ottawa, that there might be some more Catholics around there. Toronto is also kind of tempting. I actually think I like Toronto better just because bigger population. Let's see. Okay, it's actually over the border over here in New York. So again, not the best score, but it was kind of a generic round, and we didn't have any yellow license plates, which you would normally have in New York. Okay, so here's an interesting one. We got, well, let's take a look. It says Kenya's #1 soap bar here, so that definitely helps. But even without that, taking a look around, very green. Obviously, going to be driving left-hand side of the road here, given that we know it's Kenya. But you can kind of tell that, by the way, this car's turning into this lane. Definitely seems like a left-hand drive. And also, this guy's also driving the left-hand side of the road. We've got a yellow rear plate here. And then just quite tropical, temperate, kind of mix of temperate tropical climate here. Obviously, we do have the snorkel as well on the silver car. And so the silver car, it's interesting. Well, the black car kind of drives north and south of Nairobi, and the silver car kind of drives, well, it drives in Nairobi, but all the way out here as well. And with this soil color, I would expect we're somewhere between Eldoret and Kisumu here. Kisumu. Also, both cars do go to Mombasa as well, but yeah, I kind of like around here. Do we see any hills? Because this area is a little more hilly. We don't really, it's a bit more flat, so maybe let's go in Eldoret then. Let's see. Okay, we are 67 kilometers away. Kimilili, interesting place name, but we actually get our first good score of the game, so that's nice. Also, the idea would, I forgot to say this at the start, but the idea would be that you guys play first and then come back and see, and so I can explain if you did anything wrong or anything. But no doubt, many of you guys are ahead of me so far because I made the first two errors. Anyway, this one is interesting. We appear to be driving right-hand side of the road. We got a concrete road here, which is interesting. Always something to pay attention to when it's not bitumen, but concrete. We have a Japanese car here, interesting. Kind of like these wooden fences, quite common in Central and South America, I would say. A hilly landscape, and the big thing you can't really go past here is this silver Google car with the roof racks, and that one is found in, among other countries, Guatemala, but Guatemala is the only one that fits with a landscape like this. So yeah, let's take a look around. If we're in Mexico, so excluding the Google car here, if we're in Mexico, we'd probably see this pole being octagonal. Although, They have round ones too, but octagonal poles are really quite common in Mexico. Yeah, this one's quite flat and quite green, so I am thinking maybe south of the mountains here, closer to the equator. I'm not really sure. This could easily be to the north of the mountains too, and to be honest, maybe I am preferring north of the mountains here. I don't know. It's only light mountains, so we can't be on this central ridge that runs through. We have to be somewhere south or north of there. I actually kind of think, well, given the way east to west, maybe something like this would work. I'm not really sure, but I do kind of like north actually better. So let's see if I'm right about that. Ends up actually, yes, being north of the mountains on this lake. So I wonder if I could have seen that. I don't think I could. Regardless, if I had have clicked Guatemala, I would have had a lower score, so it's nice that I was able to, you know, click in rather the right area. And we're on track for a good score here, especially if we nail this one. Okay, so immediately the thing that stands out to me on this one is that we've got double yellows on the edge, and that is making me think of Britain. And also this kind of dark red brick is also definitely consistent with Britain. I'm thinking more northern here, but it is quite a hilly town, so we'll have to see. It could also be Ireland as well. So we got .uk, so that really helps out a lot. And this one, Henry Bessemer, or something. I don't really know how to pronounce that if it's from another language. But anyway, we have some yellow rear plates here, so that would indicate that we're in the UK rather than in Ireland, because Ireland uses white back plates. We've got an Alzheimer's Society here, but no place name. Braniff. I don't think that's what the place name either. So that's pretty much what we've got to run with this round. I would say the architecture is fairly like generic. If it was a little more hilly, I would be thinking of Bristol because it gets quite hilly around here, and I still might go there anyway. But it feels like quite a cold climate, so I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm kind of just tempted to guess in the middle, maybe Birmingham or something like that. Kind of go between some of the bigger cities here. I like that. Let's just see if we're right. Could even be Scotland, I suppose. Okay, we're actually not quite in Scotland here, but right at the north of England in Workington, which is a funny place name. But yeah, right as I clicked guess, I did kind of notice that it might be more northern. We end up with 21.6, so not a fantastic score, but also not terrible. So hopefully you guys beat me there, but I'm coming back. Watch this. So let's procure the second link here, put it inside my folder here, and get going. Okay, so I really would like to get 23,000. If I'm spending this long on a round, I would like to get a 23,000 here. This one's interesting. When I was looking here with this kind of white dirt and the big mountains in the background, I was immediately thinking of Chile, especially because they do like a lot of wooden buildings and wooden fences over here. Looking over here, though, we do have an Asian car, but that's not really what... I don't know why I brought that up, but anyway, we have a black car with a long antenna here, and in Chile you would have a white car with no antenna, so that is going to be the big one deciding here. And what I meant to mention was probably this architecture where it's brightly painted, which they really like to do in Russia. And with mountains this big to our north, you've got to be thinking that we are somewhere over here, or over here. So that's what I got to think about here, which is more likely. With the mountains to the north, that's certainly an interesting proposition. We also do have mountains to the south, but not quite as big. So let's think here. Interesting. All these houses are made of timber. The climate does not feel particularly warm. A lot of the time around here, the climate will feel quite warm. I'm just trying to think, if we were in a town like this, I mean, that would fit. That would, to be fair, fit. But I'm kind of leaning more over here, so I just want to check out how some of these villages would look with big mountains to the south. So let's say we were in this town here. We could see these massive mountains back here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually kind of conflicted on which mountain range I like better here. I think the architecture would lead, and the climate would lead me more to these ones, but I guess when you're high altitude, it's kind of hard to tell what the climate is actually like, and that's my main concern here. I think also around here might have some autumn coverage, or rain coverage or something. I can't remember exactly what the rule is there, but regardless, I think I will go up here. Let's see if I'm right. And okay, it was over here near Lake Baikal. We only get 2,000 points. Wow. I kind of thought we were a bit closer there, but yeah, there are actually big mountains over here. And it's interesting that the bigger ones appeared to be to our south here, because on the map it looks like the bigger ones are to the north. So I suppose we were kind of looking at these over here and it wasn't quite south. Or maybe I just didn't take a good enough look around, or maybe these ones were just obscured by their houses or something. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a round that far up in Lake Baikal, but yeah, certainly not the best score. Hopefully some of you guys at least got it. I assume some of you would have. This one is interesting. We have a white car here, yellow outside lines with white inside lines, so oftentimes to new players, I do suggest that looking at the colors of the road lines is one of the best things you can do, and this is certainly a circumstance with that being the case, because this should be somewhere in South Africa. I'm thinking Eswatini or South Africa here. So let's take a look around. We have a yurt here, which is interesting, often something that you'll see in Lesotho. However, this does not feel particularly like Lesotho to me. But yeah, some of these houses almost look South American, and it is the yellow outside lines that are going to help us away from that. The longer I look at these mountains, the more I do consider that could be Lesotho, and this yurt definitely making me reconsider my first decision here. So let's take a closer look. The thing is, this long grass in the background definitely looks more Eswatini. So this is the first time I've actually had to think Lesotho versus Eswatini in quite a while, I think, because normally they're a little easier for me. Because normally, I guess Lesotho would normally be a little bit greener than this. That's my main thought here. So I think I will go with my initial instinct, which was Eswatini, but both use the white car, both have like a hilly landscape and are quite poor compared to South Africa in many ways, at least. But the yurt is certainly interesting. I don't know. If it was Lesotho, I would expect it to be maybe somewhere up here. So if it was Eswatini, maybe just somewhere over here or something like that. So yeah, by no means easy, this one. This flat mountain is definitely reminiscent of Lesotho, but I think I have to go Eswatini here. Let's see. And okay, it was Eswatini, right at the south of the country, so maybe somewhere I'm not that familiar with. We managed to get the country. Yeah, plenty of mountains over here, so that kind of makes sense. And then, yeah, more mountains over here on the southern border. This whole area of South Africa and Lesotho is quite hilly as well. So 4.7k, it's not the best you're going to do in Eswatini, but still just fine. Okay, here's the next one. So I remember in my last country streak video, I really had a struggle on a round that was like this, but it ended up being somewhere in Sweden. But yeah, when I see the Generation 2 camera, I'm always quite tempted to go somewhere in Finland. This has like kind of a rolling landscape rather than being completely flat, so I would be thinking somewhere a bit more northern with this one as well, something like this. But yeah, it's just the Generation 2, the pines, the birches. Also, the fact that the tree cover is kind of a bit scattered here definitely feels more northern. Also feels like quite a cold climate, but I guess that's just, maybe that's a bit of confirmation bias or something. I'm not really sure. But yeah, the Generation 2 definitely points me towards Finland, possibly Sweden here. So let's go there. Oops, didn't press space. Okay, this one was Sweden again, in almost the exact same spot. That wasn't the same round, but wow, super tough. And really, I was thinking northern there, so that must be taken during the winter, or like during the spring or autumn or something like that. So yeah, I don't really know. If you guys know how I could differentiate that, do say. But yeah, for me, that one was definitely a bit of a toss-up, and when it's Generation 2, I'm normally erring on the side of Finland there. So yeah, maybe someone can tell us in the comments. But what's interesting here is that we have a Kazakh flag, despite the fact that we have the Google car that would tell us that we are in Kyrgyzstan. And I think what's definitely notable there is that there's no coverage inside of Kazakhstan at all in terms of official coverage on the road. So that pretty much leaves us to Kyrgyzstan here. We've got a red strip on the plate here, so that is also definitely reminiscent, or definitely would let you know that it's going to be Kyrgyzstan. Only a few other countries would do that. For example, Albania, which I think uses... I'm pretty sure the red strip might be on the other side of the plate. No, it's probably on that side, but yeah, it looks slightly different perhaps, or just it's a lot rarer, and the countries look quite different anyway. And then I think also Bulgaria, the old plates there might have had red strips as well. Regardless, we should be somewhere here, and so I guess we got to be thinking of places in Kazakhstan that we could be near. So we're in quite a mountain pass here, so I don't think we're right on the border unless we can find a proper border crossing here that's inside the mountains. So it could be something like over here or something like that. Although it feels like we're on a main road. So this road kind of just ends, which is interesting. Is it actually double lane? This one is single lane, and this one has a divider. So yeah, not really sure. I guess that is possible. Are we right on the border here? It certainly feels like we could be. So I guess this one we're not close enough to the mountains. If we look, or I don't think so anyway. It could be something like this, actually. Okay, here's something I'm kind of enjoying. We have the mountains very close on either side. We're kind of crossing over a river as well. So maybe something like this, although the roads are not meeting each other or anything like that. So seems like we're getting close to the border here. This road just ends. So I think this is what I like best. One thing, I was watching a channel, and if you can see the road here, that means you're not in Oth or Jalal Abad. That was on, I think his name's Jasper or something like that. He was I was watching his Kazakhstan tutorial, and he said that. So if you can see the road here properly, and the angle it's like this, then should be somewhere in the main part of the country rather than down here. Not really sure where this one's going to be, but presumably somewhere along the north border. Looking at this one also doesn't quite feel right. So yep, or Almaty, there's probably a road running through here, surely. Almaty's a big city. Well, I don't really see it, so let's just go where we had it. And okay, what's over here? So I wonder why they had the Kazakh flag. Definitely not a land border, but maybe just advertising tourism, or I'm not really sure why that is, but yeah, 4.3k is okay. Next one, we got Generation 2 camera, so thinking somewhere in Western Europe rather than Eastern. We have a kind of like black kind of slate roof here, which often I would associate with Luxembourg or somewhere in France near Luxembourg, or maybe in Belgium near Luxembourg. This kind of architecture also would fit. We have shutters on the windows. These shutters with the lines through them are definitely like French, Italian kind of vibe going on. Also, this sign that's like attached to the ground with a border on it, I think would also fit for Luxembourg. So starting to like Luxembourg the best here. Driving right hand side of the road, we can see that here. So we don't have to worry about it being Ireland, which it kind of looks like as well. I would love to see the plates here because they use yellow plates in Luxembourg, but there are plenty of French travelers anyway, so you can't trust it too much. But yeah, I think I do like Luxembourg best here. Also, Generation 2, Luxembourg is predominantly over in Generation 2, so that would make sense as well. Feels pretty decently flat here, so I think a guess around Mersch would be fine. Could be northern, but that gets more hilly around the north, so let's see. We'll be close. Okay, 4.5 kilometers away, literally a village over, which is a really nice guess. We were in Unkelsberg or something like that. Ungelsberg? Can't really read it properly there, but still a really nice guess. And we went up with 18.6, so the Russia guess I'm not disappointed with. At least we got in kind of the right region, or at least we got in Asian Russia. The Sweden guess I am disappointed with. Now, I'm not really sure how I could have done it better. I think I have some theories. Obviously, it wasn't winter coverage, so, you know, a lot of Finnish coverage is winter, so that's something we could think about there. But, yeah, not really pleased with how that one went overall. And then happy to get Eswatini. That was definitely a tougher seed. No getting around that. Definitely going to be a tougher seed there. Yeah, let's head into the third seed here and hopefully change our luck for the better. Hopefully get some more small countries, or, you know, hopefully some places I know. Maybe we can get some Australia. That would be nice. Okay, so we have like a medium length antenna here. We have holy poles. Definitely the first thing that drew my attention here. Holy poles in Europe. We're talking Poland, Hungary, Romania. Am I forgetting one? I think that's the main three that use them. You know, some similar ones over in France and Spain as well. We've got a blue strip on the plate, so that would fit all three countries. The landscape is decently flat, also fits all three countries, I would say. So now, just to think about where it makes the most sense. I think there is a clue to do with the, like, length between the gaps, or in between the holes, but I can't actually remember, so we're gonna have to kind of go on architecture here. This house would remind me more of Poland, so with this one, I think this one in the distance would too. One thing I've noticed about Hungary is it has a whole lot of single-story buildings. I don't think this architecture reminds me very much of Romania, although I have been surprised by Romania in the past. So yeah, pretty much feels like it's between Hungary and Poland. Also, it's not winter coverage, so that would also probably lean us towards Poland because just Hungary has a whole bunch of winter coverage in Generation 3. So that's pretty much what we're looking at here. We've got a tennis court. Definitely feels like a nice area. I think somewhere in the south of Poland or something like this would be fine. And then, you know, if it ends up being Hungary, we still get decent points if we guess in the south. But if I had to go as close as I could, yeah, probably somewhere southern. I like this, I think. So let's see if we are close here. Yeah, so as I said, these holy poles can also very rarely be in France, and unfortunately we didn't really have any other clues there, so ends up being France. I thought the tennis court was interesting for Eastern Europe. Not too many houses over there have I observed having a tennis court, and it turns out we're right near Luxembourg. To be honest, guys, such a bad start. I want to restart. I have to keep it 100. We're gonna go for a better score than that. So no more of that third link. We're gonna play this one. Don't worry, there was no mistake. This is the reason. Okay, let's go in again. I don't like starting off with a bad score and then knowing I'm not going to get a good one after. So this one is interesting, plenty of clues here. The big one that everyone will tell you is that the outside dashes are short here, so that is something that would indicate Sweden. For example, Norway also has outside dashes that are about double the length, so that's easy to distinguish. You also sometimes get them in like Estonia and in other countries around Europe, maybe like Netherlands, France sometimes do it. I've seen it around the spot, but yeah, it's very common in Sweden. These speed signs are also filled in yellow, which is something that a lot of countries do around this area. Sweden, Finland, Poland, Greece, sometimes North Macedonia, I think. So they're some of the countries that do it, and obviously Sweden fits with our current hypothesis. This card doesn't have a blue strip for some reason. Not really sure why that is. And we also have a yellow sign with a red border, which is a Swedish sign. So we can be pretty sure about Sweden from here. Also red painted houses, also very Swedish. And blue signs up ahead as well, which is also Swedish. So very sure about Sweden at this point. Feels southern to me. Kind of just like rolling landscape. Quite pleasant. Like kind of looks like it at least gets decently warm. Rolling hills around. I kind of like this kind of area here. Not too far south. But yeah, decently far south. These houses almost look a bit Danish. So I'm wondering if I should guess more towards Denmark. Maybe I will do that. Let's see. Is it a good change? No, it wasn't really a good change. We're up near Stockholm, so I guess this whole part, like below and above Stockholm here, it kind of looks all pretty similar, so 4.2k, yeah, I'll take it. This one is interesting. We're driving left-hand side of the road, and obviously it's kind of between Australia and New Zealand here, just because we got all white road lines and all that, and I actually think I do prefer New Zealand here, just because I'm not really sure where in Australia I would put this. So let's take a look around. We have no car at all, but the crucial detail here is that we have New Zealand Bollards. So they're red like this. Sometimes they have these yellow bits, and that's what they look like on the other side of the road with this grey strip between them, or through them. And yeah, this is indeed going to be New Zealand, and I have a heavy suspicion this is going to be North Island, and fairly far north too. Could be over this side, could be over this side, but these kind of rolling hills, obviously I thought it could be Australia at first, so it's quite a warm climate. Kind of reminds me of like Wagga Wagga or Gundagai area, so if I use the same, if we were on the same latitude, it would be somewhere around here. So maybe that is where I should go. Yeah, I kind of don't mind that, to be honest. Otherwise, just somewhere around Hamilton or somewhere around here would make most sense. If this was South Island, then I don't know, the climate just does not quite fit for my books. So I think I will go quite far north here. Let's see. And okay, so it was around Napier, actually. So 3.8k, by no means a great score, but I feel like these rounds have been pretty tough so far. Not really feeling it too much today either. This one's interesting. No Google car, so we're going to have to use our surroundings more so here. We've got Sanskrit text, which has a line straight through the top, so that's something we're definitely going to be considering here. We appear to be driving left-hand side of the road, but yeah, everywhere Sanskrit text, I'm pretty sure, does drive left as well, just because of the British influence back from the day. Taking a look at here, we definitely have like Indian-looking people around here, but India has very limited official coverage, so for that reason, I think Bangladesh is a pretty safe bet here, despite the lack of a Google car. Yeah, so looking around further, I'm not really sure. A lot of the times in Bangladesh, you'll have a red Google car with bars on it, and we don't have that this time, which is interesting, but yeah, actually relatively common. I don't see any town name anywhere, so I would just be probably willing to go Dhaka here, just because it's an absolute massive city, and this place is pretty built up. Could be another city as well. I'm pretty sure that there is some of this coverage out this direction here without the normal Bangladesh car, maybe Jashore or something there like that. But yeah, let's go Dhaka on this occasion. And okay, so whilst this one, I said Jashore, ends up being a little bit further south. So maybe that is a meta, but I'm pretty sure that same car that we just had also covers Dhaka as well. So it was always going to be a little bit of a toss-up. We get 4.5k because obviously Bangladesh is pretty forgiving. So here's the next one. Yellow on the outside of the road, but it's not yellow double. So the question becomes, is this actually going to be Britain or not? This looks like they're flying a Jamaican flag, unless I'm mistaken. And I know that London has a large Jamaican diaspora. I might be reading into this too much, but could we be around London here is the question. So this car looks like it's kind of driving towards us, or parked, at least for left-hand drive. Also, the single yellow lines, I don't think that rules out England. I think it's just that often England does use the doubles. So yeah, is that a Jamaican flag is the question. I feel like I kind of have to guess London area, or maybe somewhere around there, maybe Southampton or something like that, or maybe Birmingham, or somewhere in this kind of area here, because I feel like that's where a lot of the Jamaican diaspora lies. I could be wrong, and I could be wrong about this flag as well. Does it actually make sense? I think it does. I think it actually does. So maybe we'll have to check it out after this round ends, but yeah, I think I will go, I don't know. Maybe somewhere on the outskirts of London would make sense here. Let's try that. Okay, this was Jersey, so that's not the Jersey flag. So let's actually go check this out. Was it actually a Jamaican flag? I hope that the wind picks up a little bit here as we go over. So was it right? Yeah, this was a Jamaican flag, even with a Bob Marley in the middle there. So pretty epic, and it even has like a Pan-African flag in the middle, and it says freedom. So pretty cool. And wow, you can actually see like a little bit of a red on the Jersey number plates here. So that would have really thrown a spanner in the works. But could this actually be a meta? This kind of single yellow line. Is it that in Jersey they only use a single yellow line, whereas elsewhere they use double? That would be an interesting experiment. But yeah, I guess I kind of got baited by the flag a little bit. Not as hard as I could have been. Now, I guess in Jamaica would have been truly bad, but yeah, we still pull a decent score guessing in London. This one is interesting. A red number plate would definitely scream Brazil to me off the bat, because in Brazil, people were definitely arguing about this in the comment section of my last Brazil one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure people were saying that it's actually service vehicles. Also, these are Brazil poles with the sections in them, section, painted white at the bottom with dots at the top, so yep, definitely Brazilian. Taking a further look around, we have a clear satellite dish, also something that they like to do in Brazil. This one is fairly dry, but we have a few palms in the background. So I'm thinking more northern here. Paulo Salto is interesting. I'm not really sure if that's actually a city. I've never heard of it, I don't think. But I'm definitely thinking of somewhere around here, off the bat. Yeah, I don't see Paulo Salto anywhere here. These red plates, for some reason, I always see them around Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. But yeah, I don't really feel like that feels like this area on this occasion. We don't have any dirt. A lot of the times the dirt is a good way to tell, but unfortunately without any dirt, I'm just going to have to go on instinct here. It's quite hilly. So yeah, maybe something like this would make sense. Somewhere inland a little over here. How big is this town? Yeah, this one is a decent sized town, so I think I like that. Let's check it out if we are correct, or if it is going to be southern. Okay, so it's a little bit further south. Not a bad guess. Near Salvador here. 3.2k. Yeah, not fantastic. I mean, if we went for a bit of a hedge, it would have been better. Yeah. So we end up with 20,000. Again, not the best score, but I'm still hungry for a better one. And also because I don't think I've been playing that well today. It's bound to happen sometimes. Hopefully you guys are beating me. That would be really nice if you are. Especially maybe if you're less experienced, because, you know, always nice to beat someone who is better than you, or maybe you're just better than me to begin with. So here's the next one. We got a bunch of white road lines. We got a bollard here, which looks like the Australian bollard. You can see the grey reflector. And it's quite short compared to what you'd see in Australia. So this one is Turkey. That is the Turkish bollard. This particular sign here is also quite common in Turkey, with the kind of white V through the red, and that's something they also love to use in the whole of the South African, sub region or region. We have lots of like rolling brown hills here. This almost reminds me of Israel or something, so I am kind of thinking of somewhere further south here where there are kind of rolling hills rather than big ones. Maybe something like this. This could easily be north too. I'm not really sure. Also, this kind of like black and white road is also quite typical of Turkey. Not really a hint you'd want to rely on, but something that you can keep in mind. But yeah, the bollards are the main thing here for this one. The white bollards look like Australia, but not quite. Also, metal poles as well. Very Turkish. So let's see if we're right. Okay, ends up being more central. Turkey being a very hilly nation, even when it looks flat, it's hilly. But yeah, 6 in a row now. This one is interesting. We've got some interesting, like, pavement here. Not really what you normally expect to see. Normally have an asphalt road. Here's some people. Looks like we might be speaking a bit of French here. Definitely feels like French. So, obviously France feeling most likely here. This guy's shirt, not really giving anything away. Okay, let's look over here. +32. I'm not actually sure if +32 is indeed the French area code or not. I actually have not given the time to learn those, and to be fair, it's probably useful for Europe and not too much elsewhere. Looking at these guys, not really sure. A bunch of white people, so it would certainly fit for France. Okay, so let's take a look closer here. It looks like it says FU, but I'm not really sure what the deal is there. That's interesting. Regardless, short antenna. Yeah, not really sure. Not really sure with this one, but France would certainly make sense here. So let's go and tour. I don't really know where I'd put this. This was in Belgium. Okay, so definitely a tough round. Architecture did not scream Belgium to me, but I guess the fact that it was like very packed in, close together would like be more of a Belgian thing. I don't really know. That's definitely a tough round. Also, speaking French, like most of Belgium speaks Dutch, significant French-speaking population as well. But yeah, just rather unfortunate, I guess. Now we are in France because we've got a ladder pole here, very typical France. Looking around as well. Hold up. I changed my mind. This scene right here really looked French. Looking at these ones, these are the like hunting zone signs that you get in Portugal, and they kind of look like a miniature, like they're either an on its side Peru flag or like a squished together like Latvia or Austria. And yeah, this one definitely was reminding me more of France just because it's a bit flat, but yeah, I guess this must actually just be somewhere in Portugal. This architecture does not scream Portugal to me, I must say. It looks more French. There's also winter coverage, also just quite flat. This would be one of the flattest areas of Portugal for sure. So I think both countries do use these ladder poles. This one looks more like a French one though, so let's take a look in here. Winter coverage, it just does not quite make a lot of sense for Portugal for me. These kind of like blackish roofs. Could this also be Luxembourg is what I'm thinking? Because we have like this border on the sign. I feel like they might do that sometimes in Luxembourg. Oh, this one's definitely hard to get. We've got some red roofs, but also some black roofs as well. These black roofs over here were making me think of Luxembourg. So winter coverage, huh? I don't know how much winter coverage Luxembourg has. I think I actually have to go France near Luxembourg here, or Luxembourg near France here. It's quite flat though, so maybe we're just over the border in France here. I don't really know. But even though we have these hunting grounds things, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make enough sense here for me to go to go Portugal. This church doesn't feel Portuguese. Neither do these houses at all. Then we'd have to trust the architecture here. So let's see if I'm right. Okay, so we were right. Would have been better if we went in Tours again. Where is that actually? Nearby. Anyway, how can I not see that? That's so strange. Oh, here it is. That because it was underneath the line. But yeah, we were actually out here. A bit of winter coverage. Definitely French architecture. So interesting. You guys from France have to tell me if that's also hunting little signs there, because those are the ones you find in Portugal. So Definitely curious that we saw some in France. Never seen that before. But we managed to get away from a bad guess. Here we have kind of a long lamp and a concrete pole. He's driving on the right-hand side of the road, but I actually happen to think that's bait. The Google car is completely obscured here, which is interesting. Generally speaking, completely obscured Google car is not in too many countries, although it's always possible. In any given round, you can kind of have places that normally have a car meta. For example, say you're in Argentina where there's normally a car meta. You could still possibly have the car obscured. But this one, also looking at this text, definitely screams Thailand. Could be confirmation bias, but I'm pretty sure that is a Thai flag there. They're definitely patriotic, so it would make sense. But the big clue is this long lamp and this concrete pole with the dots in it, because these are Thai clues. So this kind of concrete pole can be found around the spot with the dots in it, but this lamppost, I'm pretty sure, just Thailand, or maybe Thailand and Laos. It's fairly green here. I think somewhere around Bangkok would make most sense for me, at least. Maybe it could be further south down here, but we don't really see any big hills or anything. So I think I like, just somewhere around here best. Let's see if we're correct about that. Ends up being way far north. So we were like in a valley here, which is a really cool shaped city, but I just couldn't see any of these big mountains. So not really sure what the story is there, but yeah, not a fantastic guess. This one, we have the exact same long light. So I guess we can just slam it in for Thailand this time. We again have like some more red dirt, so definitely feeling Thai banana plants here. Southeast Asia, definitely a staple of Southeast Asia for sure. And we even have a outline of Thailand here, so this one is certainly Thailand. This reddish dirt makes me more think of the Cambodian border, anywhere up to the Laos border, so let's go there. And okay, we're fairly close. It actually ends up being closer to the mountains again, so couldn't see them once again, but we ended up with 4,000 points and 19,000. So guys, oh man, if I swapped these two guesses, we would have had a nice seed there. Regardless, I want to do one more. Maybe go a bit quicker this time. Let me see what the time is. Yeah, I'll go a bit quicker. Yeah, let's get straight into another one, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying. Smash like and subscribe if you are. And don't forget to leave a comment, whatever you do feel like. But let's head into the 5th seed here and hope that my luck is a little better. Okay, this is Russia. This is Russia. Poor road quality, though, could lead us to guess Ukraine. So let's take a look here. It appears to be the black car with the long antenna. So yeah, definitely Russia. Normally in Ukraine you'd have a red car of some description, with or without an antenna. So we have like some dirt roads here. Fairly poor quality. So this should be like snow affected to some extent. So I just want to guess here and hope that we're kind of close. Let's kind of go up here. I don't know. Okay, this one was Asian Russia. Did cross my mind. But I just kind of wanted to go quickly so that we can make a new challenge. I want a good score. Part of the enjoyable part of Geoguessr, for my money at least, is, getting that 23,000, 24,000 score, which I have not been able to today. Here's an interesting one. Generation 2 camera, shutters on the windows, so immediately thinking somewhere in Italy or France because of these shutters. Over here, we have plates that do have blue on both sides, but I'm kind of less convinced that this is the Italian blue, and maybe that it's the French blue, because both countries do a similar thing. So maybe French Alps here. Architecture could fit for either country for sure. But what I'd love is if we could see a front plate, but of course, whenever you want to see a front plate, you cannot. Yeah, but look at these wooden shutters, these green ones. Can't exactly remember, but looking at this language, yeah, this looks more French to me, this whole word here. I'm no expert in French or Italian, but generally speaking, I can tell them apart, and this looks more French. So, Generation 2, somewhere out in the hills, presumably. I kind of like somewhere around here, right on the Italian border. This is the only region that makes sense, unless we were in the Pyrenees, which, to be fair, my first thought was Andorra, so maybe this is Pyrenees. Now I gotta think for a second longer. I bet they do have some Generation 2 down here, so yeah, maybe I do prefer this. I think I actually do. Regardless, we're gonna get a decent score, but I mean, I could hedge in the middle and hope for the best, but I actually do. Now that I look in the background, this kind of looks more Alps. So these houses here, maybe this rock looks more Pyrenees. Kind of just tossing up between them. I'm going to go near Andorra just because it was my first thought. And this was Italy. So I misread the language. 3,300? You already know, we're starting again. We want a good score here. So let's get that challenge link going. Come on. We gotta hit something here. Replace that link again and get going. Okay, guys. First round is looking to be Senegal before we look at the Google car here. So we're driving right-hand side of the road, as we can see from this car here. We've got lots of African guys standing around, so that would definitely make sense. This is even a mosque. So yeah, Senegal, a predominantly Muslim country. And check it out, we have the roof racks and rifts in the sky. These rifts are pretty much, if you're in Africa and you have these rifts, it's going to be Senegal. And these French-style poles with a ladder on them as well. Obviously, former colony of France, definitely makes sense to have that. This kind of attire as well, where he's kind of like wearing like a dress, definitely more reminiscent of the Arabic world. Not really sure what the actual proper name for that is, but yeah, some kind of like a long toga. Not toga. I don't know. I don't know what the actual name for that is in the Muslim world, but something like that. Oh, interesting. What's she doing? She's definitely packed in there. There's a lot of stuff in the back, I think. But nice nails. She's on fleek, you know. Alright, so yeah, also some French as well. So plenty of clues to get that this is Senegal, but you can see I'm kind of stalling because I'm not really sure where I'm going to guess here. Definitely reminds me more of the... We're going kind of north to south here. It does remind me more of the Sahara, so I think I will guess somewhere around here, but it could easily be the other side of the country, and it is. So 4,400, it's not bad, it's not good. I don't know, I tend to struggle with Senegal. This one is Japanese. We have Japanese architecture, wide blur, with the low camera, concrete pole, and look at that, we have some Japanese as well. Yeah, and this is the standard Japanese, like, kind of hazard, reflector on the poles with the straight lines that are black and yellow. So yeah, somewhere in Japan. It actually gets quite flat here to our east, so that is interesting. Not really sure where I think about or what I'm thinking about because of that reason. Maybe somewhere over here. I like that, near Sendai. Let's go. Okay, first good guess in a while. Goodness me. Sendai, so right near there. Okay, we're just on the brink of Fukushima there. Interesting. Don't know if I've had around in Fukushima in a long time. But yeah, turns out the mountains were right close to us, and then the reason it was so flat was because there was a whole city there. So a good start to this seed. Finally, we managed to get a good score. Here we have the short dashes, Sweden, and we even have a Swedish kind of like Nordic style thin flag there. Easy decision. So lots of pines as well, white gravel. Thinking very far south for this one. Definitely thinking quite far south. It's summer coverage though, and this road does look a bit winter damaged. I am very much hoping this isn't Åland Islands, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure just somewhere around here would make sense. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. We're in like kind of the Lake District. You can see like a lake over there. I like this. Let's see. Okay, ends up being further north again. Yeah, Sweden giving me some troubles today. 4,300 is not terrible though. Next one. Looking at this poll immediately, whenever you have a toss-up between England, France, Ireland, pay to look at the polls, because if you can see a blue dot on the poll, then you should be in France. As for this one, we're going to have to use our, thinking cap, because this is not exactly easy. Bunch of cows here. This kind of grass looks like more cold climate to me. We've got a big hill in the background, so maybe even Wales. Not really sure. A lot of trees, though. This house almost feels more... I don't know, it's too far away to tell. Could easily be Irish as well. The fact that this hills is kind of confusing me. I'm not really sure what I'm thinking here. Hedgerows as well. Always classic for this part of the world. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to have to go for England here, despite the fact that I do think there's a good chance that it could be Ireland. I don't think France here. This kind of hedgerow, these long dashes, definitely typical for England and France, by the way. This is kind of the kind of length they use for the centre dashes as opposed to shorter. But let's go around Bristol. Let's see about that. Okay, this was Northern Ireland, so correct country, and that actually makes sense for how cold it looked. But yeah, not a fantastic guess, though. Here's the final one. Before we look around, this looks like an American bollard, where it's just like kind of a generic pole with like a little reflector on top. Yellow center lines, no trees, hilly. Yeah, a blue reflector here, which is interesting. But yeah, very hilly. Let's go for a good score here. We've got a railway running to our north, and we're going east to west. This reminds me of South Dakota, or the Dakotas, kind of somewhere a bit more hilly in the Dakotas. So let's go around here. Do we have a railroad? If we had one, I'd just go for it, but looks like we don't. Back to the drawing board. No, hills would be too big there. How about over here? I just want somewhere that at least could be the right road. This one certainly can't be it. What about over here? No railroad again. So, starting to lose patience here. This will be the end of the video, but I want to go out on a bang, you know? The fact there's no trees, I mean, it could be like Montana or... Yeah, it could be Montana or Wyoming, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not really sure where I should go here. South Dakota was really initially my first thought here by a mile, so I think I will still go out just somewhere around here. Let's go for that. So, we were just over the border in Nebraska. I would count that as a good American guess. Those kind of like bare rolling hills were the big clue there, as well as the American bollards, of course. On the Canadian side, you wouldn't really see like kind of those bare hills like that. It gets pretty flat over here. Most of the plains is pretty flat, but you have like a bit of the remnants of the Rockies or something going on over there as you exit Colorado. So we end up with 22,000. I think that's probably the best for the video. It is the best for the video, shamefully. Normally I'd be doing better than that, but you know, sometimes 5 seeds are just hard 5 seeds, and that's all you can do. So we'll get a country streak of 5 for the last one. Thanks very much for watching. Comment how you did. Comment how you stacked up against me. Probably you beat me in at least some of them. I assume if you're a decent player, you at least beat me in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. But yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching the whole way, and I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, bye bye.